Hey guys, welcome to another Pokemon Challenge run. My name is Dadman, but you already know that, and today we're tackling a run that honestly will probably not be incredibly challenging. It's more of a novelty thing that people actually like doing for their first playthroughs of new gens. However, I have not seen anyone actually making a video on it yet. So I might as well make this a series before anyone else does. We will be playing through Pokemon Shield only using Generation 8 Mons. So what this means is we will not be able to catch or use anything that was not newly introduced in this generation. Also, Pokemon that evolve from or into old Mons or are just regional forms are not eligible either. We can do an only regional forms run of Alola and Galar, and probably of whatever Gen 9 will be eventually, since I haven't seen anyone do that either, but that's the future and now is now, so let's get this going. So skipping ahead over the intro dialogues, we're getting to choose our starter and go with the only correct choice. We name Scorbunny Hattrick after the one from a Nuzlocke, and we fight Hop right away. Hop leads with Wooloo cause he already owns 2 Pokemon cause he's a filthy cheater, and we take it down with 3 tackles. Hattrick levels up and learns Ember, Grookey is out next, and 2 Embers are all it takes. It's really impossible to lose this first fight unless you really try to. Skipping ahead over finding Zamazenta's ghost in the woods, we finally get Pokeballs and can go catch our first team members. I'd really be for catching only a minimal amount of Mons, basically just enough to fill out a balanced team of 6. For that, I'd say we go with a Rookie D as our second member, as we'd want a Flying and eventually Steel type on our team. So we catch that first. We name him Kuro after the one from the Nuzlocke. The other Mons available in this route would be Wooloo, Skwovet, Nickit, and Blipbug, but I don't think I'll go for any of them for the final team. Similarly, on Route 2, we only get access to Yamper and Choodle, which I also don't want to use. What we can get before fighting Hop again, though, is an Arrokuda. It is a 5% fishing encounter, but I feel like making it my water type for this run. So I spend some time fishing next to the professor's house. We get it in just 5 encounters somehow and 1 ball. I name it Dart and move on to the second Hop fight. He leads with Wooloo, I lead with Dart. A bit of Aqua Jet spamming later, Wooloo goes down. Next is his Grookey and I decide to stay out since I do have Peck on Dart, but Grookey outspeeds and kills. I go to Kuro and just cause I don't wanna waste the experience, and since this run doesn't have a no items in battle rule, I use the revive I picked up on the route earlier to revive Dart. Then I take Grookey out with a few pecks. Last is his Rookie D and I go to Hattrick and take it out with a few Embers. Time to get an endorsement. And with that we're off into the wild area. Not that we would catch anything here though, as there is really nothing new here that is worth going for. So we make our way to Motorstoke, choose the only correct jersey number, and get over to the Badu Drop Inn to take out Team Yell. The next morning we go through the opening ceremony and then get to the next rival fight on the bridge to the next route. He starts with Wooloo again, I lead with Hattrick. A few Embers make sure it doesn't stay out for long. Next is his Grookey, so 2 Embers take that out. And finally his Rookie D comes out and I go to Dart cause I get bored of spamming Amber and spam Aqua Jet instead, making sure we don't faint with a potion in between. So much for that. Route 3 ahead does have Gossifleur, but I have no intent of using that, so we just keep going. We also ignore the Roly-Coly, and before we get to the first mine, Hattrick evolves into Reboot. On the way through the mine, we encounter Beat, bite his Solosis into pieces, get rid of his Gothorita, and burn down his Haytena. Leaving the mine, we get to Route 4, where we could theoretically encounter Milcery, but who wants living milk on their team? Instead, we go take on the grass gym. Obviously, the gym trainers are pushovers, so off to fight Milo. He leads with Gossifleur, I send out Hattrick, Ember takes half his health and burns, while Magical Leaf does hardly anything to me. A second Ember is enough to take it out. Second is his Eldegoss, and we both Dynamax. Max Flare does about a third and sets up Sun, while Max Overgrowth takes us to half health and sets up a Grassy Field. The second sun boosted max flare leaves him with a sliver, while I get to red from a second max overgrowth. As we outspeed, the third max flare finishes the battle and Hattrick learns flame charge. First batch done. So off to the next route. This is the route with the daycare, so we can just add the next member to the team for free. Crash Spyro the Toxel. Yeah, I named this thing after the fact that the evolution line kinda looks like a fusion of Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon. We also get a few experience candies with that, so we get it to level 9 instantly with those. Then there is of course the encounters on this route. The one I want to use is a grass dragon type, and if you played the game you already know who I mean, Applin. While searching for one and knocking out an Asper that didn't want to let me run, Kuro evolves into Corvisquire. After a bit of searching we find an Applin, catch it and name it Drapple because my nickname skills are limited to references, bad jokes and puns. So let's continue over the bridge and into the next city. On the way we have to fight Hop again, so here we go. He leads with Wooloo, I lead with Crash Spyro. He tackles, I nuzzle for the para, a few acids later Wooloo goes down. Next is his Thwacky, and he razor leaves as I go for nuzzle to para again. Then Acid takes a third of his health while he screeches. I switch to Hattrick and Flame Charge takes him to a sliver, while Double Hit takes 2/3 of our health. I quick attack, he heals before I can hit, and the second flame charge is all it takes to finish Thwacky. He goes to Corvisquire, I switch back to Crash Spyro. I heal with a super potion while he hits 2 fury attacks. He outspeeds with Pack before I nuzzle him, and after another nuzzle he gets out 5 hits on fury attack and feints Crash Spyro. I go to Kuro and use a revive because I want to keep my experience on Crash Spyro, and then 2 plucks take care of his bird and end of battle. Almost to Hulbury and talk to Nessa real quick so we can battle her gym, and after going through her puzzle, we get wiped by her Dreadnought a couple of times. Somebody say again how you can't be underleveled or lose with the mandatory experience share in this game. Cause we sure as fuck are underleveled on everything but Hattrick and Kuro, who are both weak to Dreadnought. Our only 2 type advantages are Applin without a grass move and Toxel with Nuzzle, who both don't learn anything new anymore until they evolve, and our entire team is physical attackers, so Dreadnought being a physical tank doesn't help either. I tried with different tactics and with healing items, but nothing ended up working. So back to the route before and get the trainers we skipped. And then off to the wild area and get a bunch of Dynamax candies so we have more of a chance of actually staying alive in Dynamax. So with the stuff we find in the raids, we get the entire team to level 23 and raise Toxel's Dynamax level by 5. So we get more HP during Dynamax on it. Let's see how it goes. And Toxel still gets one shot in Dynamax after stalling out her Dynamax. This is bullshit. So I used the 2 medium experience candies I still have in my bag to get Toxel to level 26. She leads with Goldeen, I lead with Crash Spyro. Nuzzle paras her while Horn Attack does about a third to us. Acid takes her to orange and she's fully parried. And another acid kills, making me level up. Aracuda is next. Aqua Jet takes us to a third and Nuzzle paras again. I go to Dart and Super Potion Crash Spyro and then Bite. She lives on a sliver and kills Dart. I go to Drapple, revive Dart, and heal up and go back to Dart and Aqua Jet cause Drapple kept flinching. Finally, her Dreadnought is out. She Dynamaxes and I stay in so she won't use a water move. I get to Aqua Jet twice before Max Darkness kills. I go to Drapple to stall out the last Dynamax turn and die to Headbutt the next turn. Crash Spyro is back out and I Dynamax. Razor Shell does about half and a crit Max Lightning finishes Dreadnought. About time. With that we continue through the second mine and back towards Motorstoke. On the way we beat up Beat again, we bite through his team with Dart until Ponytail speeds, so we take that out with Kuro instead. Back in Motorstoke we go to the Badoo Inn for the night and have to fight Mani there. She starts with Krogunk, I have Dart in the lead. I try Aqua Jet but she has Dry Skin, which I never knew cause I never used a water type in this battle, so I switch to Kuro and pluck one-shots. Next is her Morpeko, so I go to Hattrick and Flame Charge to outspeed afterwards. She bites, I go for Double Kick next as she bites again and lives in the red. I try quick attack to make sure I still outspeed, but she potions, so I potion the next turn, and another double kick and flame charge later, she's down to the last mon. Scraggy comes out, so I go back to Kuro and block one-shots. Done. Dart also evolves after this one. Cabo fights the next morning. I just knock out 5 mons in the trial, by the way, cause there is only one Gen 8 mon in there and I don't want that one. Anyway, he leads with Ninetales, I send out Dart, Dive takes Ninetales to red, and Aquajet finishes the job. Next is his Arcanine, and it goes down to a single dive. And last is his Centiskorch, I Dynamax, he Gigantamaxes, Max Geyser takes him to yellow, while Max Flutterby takes us to yellow. Another Max Geyser later, we win. Easy. So after some story exposition in Hammerlock, we get a sweet apple from this dude and evolve Drapple with it. So we finally have a usable grass type now. Then we wipe the floor with Team Yell again and go on to Stow-on-Side. Crash Spyro also evolves from that fight. We fight Hop real quick, but since he hardly has anything worth mentioning, we basically stomp him and can go to the gym. Alistair leads with a Galarian Yamask, I lead with Kuro. I Hone Claws while he uses Hex, I Power Drip and take him to yellow, but he disables my Power Drip, so I have to pay back for the final blow. Next is his Cursula, and I switch to Drapple. He curses, I use Apple Acid. That lowers his special defense, so I go for it again, while Hex takes me to red. He lives on 1 and Curse kills off Drapple. Dart is out and Aqua jets Cursula off the field. He sends out a Mimikyu and I go to crush Spyro. He Hone Claws, I Acid Spray, breaking his disguise. He Hone Claws again and Acid Spray gets him to half. With the special defense down, he drops to another Acid Spray after slashing me to half. His Gengar is last, so I go back to Dart. He Gigantamaxes, I Dynamax, and Max Quake leaves him in the red, while Max Darkness only does a bit of damage to us. I show him what a real Max Darkness looks like, and with that we win the next badge. Coming out of the gym, we get some story with Sonia and Beat, and quickly throat chop our way through his team with Dart, before we can go on to the Glimwood Tangle. Here we catch a final team member, a Mogrim. Obviously, he is a heavy boy, cause he wouldn't stay in the Dusk Ball, but he did stay in the heavy ball we just got from Ball Guy in the last gym. I name him Creature after our house elf in Harry Potter. We go to Bellonly, get the Eviolite from fighting a girl in a house to equip on Creature for now, and go for the fairy gym. We'll skip right to Opal. She leads with Galarian Weezing, so I put Dart in front for Drill Run. Unfortunately, the Weezing has Levitate, so we go for dives instead until we faint from sludges. We do answer all her questions correctly though, since I've played this a couple of times already. I send out Kuro for the killing blow, but first use a revive on Dart so we can use him for more while later. Drill Pack takes down Weezing the next turn. Up next is Togekiss, so Crash Spyro is out and discharges while getting hit with the Ancient Power once. We answer another question correctly and end Hermon with Acid Spray. Mawile is up, so Dart comes back and Drill runs her off the field in 3 turns, while she only Iron defenses and crunches. Last is our Gigantamax Alcremie, so Crash Spyro is back and we both Dynamax. Max Ooze is super effective and boosts my special attack while being special, so I 3-shot even with G-Max Finale, healing her back since it's a training move. And with that, we're done on this side of the map. Hattrick evolves and we head back to Hammerlock along with Opal and do some more story there. Then we fight Hop again, he leads with Trevenant, I send out Drapple, I misclick on Body Slam and he Confuse Race, I switch to Hattrick and he Shadow Claws, I Pyroball his face off and he goes to Snorlax. I switch back to Drapple and go for Leech Seed while he Body Slams. I go for Apple Acid, he Stockpiles, so the special defense kinda stays the same, while I heal with both Leech Seed and the Shell Bell I'm holding. This goes on until he faints. Next is Heatmore, so I go to Dart, dive one-shots. He goes to Rillaboom, so I'm fine with a starter face off and go to Hattrick. Flame Charge does half, while he knocks off my Charcoal. For that absolute impertinence, he catches a Pyro Ball with his face and dies. Bolton comes out, so I go back to Drapple and High Horsepower twice, with him crunching twice. That's all. Onwards to Searchester. I absolutely hate this gym's quote-unquote puzzle. Cause you're legit faster falling into every hold and trying to figure out where you can actually step with the degenerate detector garbage they give you for it. Anyway, Melanie fights. She leads with Frostmoth, I lead with Hattrick, completely forgetting to heal up before the battle. She sets up Hail, I send Frostmoth off the field with a Pyro Ball. Next is her Galarian Damaritan, and Pyro Ball also sends it back home. Out comes her Ice Cube, so I switch to Dart for a bit while getting rid of the Para and healing back up to full on Hattrick. Unfortunately, she has Freeze Dry, so that's super effective on Dart. Once Dart is down, I go back to Hattrick and 3 Flame Charges, one of which gets negated by Ice Cube's ability. She is down to her last mon. Lapras comes out and I switch to Crash Spyro, I Dynamax, she G-Maxes, and 3 Max Lightnings later I survive in red off her ice attacks and we win the badge. Off to some story. One visit to Bob's Your Uncle and the hot springs later, we fight Hop. Not much to say about this fight really apart from his Snorlax being a wall that takes way too long to take down, and his Rillaboom knocking off Kura's Muscle Plant, saving itself, and catching a Pyro Ball overkill in the face for that after it took down Kuro. Then we move on to Spagmuth, beat Marnie real quick, and go on to fight the local gym. On the way to the gym leader, Creature evolves, giving us a fully evolved team for the rest of this playthrough. Gym time. Pierce leads with Scrafty, I lead with Creature to catch the Intimidate. Then I switch to Kuro for actual attacking. 2 Drill Packs take him down, with him doing hardly any damage back. Next is Impalamar, so I go to Hattrick. Pyro Ball takes over half, Foul Play does massive damage back, and a second Pyro Ball takes him down. Obstagoon comes out and I go to Creature. He goes for Obstruct, its signature protect move, and lowers my defense from that. I use Spirit Breaker and take about a third. Shadow Claw does similar damage to me, and in the end he lives the 3rd Spirit Breaker on 1 health, and counters for the kill. I send out Dart for priority and Aqua Jet into an Obstruct first, and then Outspeed for the kill the next turn. Last is his Skunk Tank, and I stay out for Drill Run, but he gets priority on Sucker Punch and one-shots off the lowered defense from Obstruct. Next is Drapple, and High Horsepower does a good chunk while he Toxics. Another High Horsepower later, he throws by Screeching the last turn, giving me a free win with a 3rd High Horsepower. One more batch to go. A bit of story later, we get to Raihan's Double Battle Gym. He leads with Flygon and Gigalith. I send out Dart and Creature. I try to Ice Fang Flygon, but miss somehow, while he Thunder Punches me to red. Creature lands a Spirit Breaker for most of Flygon's health, and Gigalith body presses a 3rd of Creature. I go for Dive on Dart, and Flygon takes out Creature with Steel Wing. I send out Drapple next, and Dart lands a Dive on Gigalith for about a 3rd. Breaking Swipe from Flygon takes out Dart, and Drapple takes Gigalith into red with Apple Acid. I send out Kuro, Flygon Breaking Swipes again, and I Steel Wing Gigalith off the field. Also Dragon Pulse from Drapple finishes Flygon. He sends out Duraludon and Sandaconda, so I use Kuro's turn to heal Drapple with a Hyper Potion and Dynamax with Drapple, stupidly choosing to use my ground attacking move. That's stupid because it's a physical move and Duraludon has literally 0 special defense and our attack was lowered the turn before. Either way, he Gigantamaxes and Drapple does hardly any damage while taking a massive hit from G-Max depletion. I Hyper Potion on Kuro's turn again and Max Murmwind the Duraludon for way better damage, while another G-Max depletion takes me to red. The next turn Drapple goes down to another G-Max depletion while I hit into Duraludon with a payback from Kuro, doing practically nothing. Also Fire Fang and the burn from it take me out, so Crash Spyro and Hattrick are out. I Pyro Ball the Duraludon and get Dart revived with a Max Revive on Crash Spyro's turn. Duraludon obviously faints and Sandaconda glares Hattrick. I Toxic the Sandaconda and another Pyro Ball takes it into yellow while it one-shots Crash Spyro. Dart is back out and I go for Ice Fang on it, taking Sandaconda to a sliver, and Earth Power faints Hattrick. Toxic damage takes the last sliver and we win. So we take the train to the final route in the game and head towards Winden. Once there we get to the stadium and start the semi-finale of the tournament. So first up we battle Marnie. She leads with Lie Part, I lead with Creature. She nasty plots, but Spirit Break one-shots. Next is a Toxicroak and I switch to Drapple. 2 Venishocks take us to red, but 2 high horsepowers take Toxicroak off the field. She brings out Scrafty and I switch to Kuro. She swaggers after I take her to yellow from a drill pack, so I go and remove the confusion with a full heal and say thank you for the free boost. She goes for a scary face though, which makes her outspeed the next turn with another swagger. I hit the drill pack through the confusion though, so Scrafty goes down. Morpeko comes out and I go back to Creature. Spirit Break again one-shots after she only torments. Last is her own Grimmsnarl, so I go back to Kuro for the steel type moves, and we both Dynamax. I outspeed, so Max Steel Spike takes her to low health, and G-Max Snooze does hardly anything to us while making us drowsy. The second Max Steel Spike finishes the match though, so that was kinda irrelevant. Up next we fight Hop. He leads with Double, I send out Hattrick, Pyroball one-shots. Next is his Snorlax, and I go to Crash Spyro, I Toxic, and of course he has high horsepower, so that one-shots. I send out Drapple and Dragon Pulse a few times while he keeps heavy slamming. Eventually he full restores, so I also do the next turn, and we keep going a while longer with this until Snorlax eventually goes down. Next is his Corviknight, so I go to Hattrick and once again Pyroball one-shots. Pincurchin is next, and I go back to Drapple and high horsepower 2-shots, while Poison Jab does good damage back. Last is his Rillaboom, and I go to Kuro and Max Airstream one-shots, that's it.
Shoehorn in Macrocosmos Storyline Speedrun.
Beat fight up next. I totally forgot about this fight, so I lead with Crash Spyro while he sends out a Mawile. And Overdrive one-shots him though. Next is his Gardevoir, so I go to Creature. He outspeeds and Dazzling Gleam almost kills, while False Surrender does good damage, but I can't make Creature win this, so I go to Kuro instead. Dazzling Gleam does almost nothing to Kuro, neither does Psychic, and Steel Wing kills. Out comes his Galarian Rapidash, and I stay out. I miss Steel Wing twice in a row, and then Rapidash lives on a sliver, so I finish it with Payback. Last is his Hatterene, and we both Dynamax. Max Steel Spike does over half, but Max Flare kills off Kuro. I send out Crash Spyro, and Overdrive does the rest. Onwards to the Gym Leader rematches. Nessa leads with Golisopod, I lead with Crash Spyro. Overdrive one-shots. Next is her Parascuda, who apparently has the same moveset as Dart, cause it drill runs us off the field. I send out Drapple, catch an Ice Fang, and one-shot with Energy Ball. Seaking is out, lives an Energy Ball, gets healed, lives another Energy Ball, lands a Mega Horn, and dies to a last Energy Ball. Pelipper is next, and I switch to Dart. I max revive Crash Spyro for later and try out a multitude of moves, but Liquidation ends up being the best option cause of the rain. Eventually Pelipper goes down while Dart lives on red. Finally her Dreadnought comes out and Crash Spyro lands a Max Lightning for the one-shot. Onwards to Alistair. He lives with Dusknoir, I lead with Creature. False Surrender does 2/3 while Rock Throw does hardly anything. Another False Surrender takes Dusknoir out. Chandelure is next and burns me. But between False Surrender and a full restore, he still doesn't get rid of Creature. Poltergeist comes out, protects, and then dies to a False Surrender as well. Up next is Cursula, and I switch to Drapple. Energy Ball does good damage, but he heals back with Strength Sap. So I Leech Seed and Dragon Pulse until Cursula is gone, catching a few hexes from it before that. I switch to Dart, as he sends out Gengar last. We Dynamax, and Max Quake takes him to red, while his Poison G-Max move does only a bit. He heals, so it takes 2 more Max Quakes, but in the end, we win. Ryan is our last Gym Leader rematch, this time as a single fight. He leads with a Drought Torkoal, I lead with Dart. I go for Drill Run, since water is a bit unusable under Drought, and he Solar Beams for a one-shot. I send out Hattrick, since the sun does improve fire damage, so a Pyro Ball takes him to red, as he yawns. He full restores, I Pyro Ball him back to about half, and fall asleep. Awakening brings Hattrick back, and Body Press does a bit of damage, before Pyro Ball takes him to red again, he yawns again, and I Headbutt for the kill, and fall asleep again. Next is his Flygon, so I go to Drapple, he sets up a Sandstorm, and Dragon Pulse takes him to a sliver. Dragon Claw takes us to yellow, and another Dragon Pulse faints Flygon. His Turtonator comes out, and I max Revive Dart, and then faint to a Dragon Pulse. Dart is out, and Drill runs him to half. He sets up Sunny Day, and another Drill Run kills. Goodra is next, and I Ice Fang for good damage, fainting to Thunderbolt. Creature comes out, and Play Rough finishes Goodra after it Rain Dances. Last is his Duraludon, and I send out Crash Spyro for special attacks, cause Duraludon has literally no special defense. We Dynamax and 2 Max Phantasms get him to yellow, while he goes for Max Rockfall and G-Max Depletion, with the 3rd attack killing. I send out Kuro, and Stone Edge does hardly anything, while Brave Bird kills. Now for some story. Rose interrupts on the Titantron as we are about to start fighting Leon, so we grab the Sword and Shield from the forest, beat up Rose's Steel team with a bunch of fire moves from Hattrick, beat up Eternatus and catch it in a Moonball cause that looks cool. Also, we have to catch it for the story, and it is a Gen 8 mon, so it's fine by the rules. And then finally, we get to fight Leon. He leads with Edge Slash, I lead with Hattrick. I expect a King's Shield and only go for Flame Charge, but he doesn't do that. Now I outspeed though on the 2nd turn, and even with the Shadow Ball getting me to red, I feint Aegislash with a Pyro Ball. Haxorus is next, so I switch to Creature. He misses Iron Tail, and Playrough takes him to yellow, but the 2nd Iron Tail crits, taking out Creature. Dart is next, and Ice Fang takes down Haxorus. Dragapult comes out, and Thunderbolts Dart off the field. I go to Crash Spyro, and Hex for about a 3rd. His Shadow Ball takes us to yellow though, so I max Revive Creature and let him feint Crash Spyro. Creature then takes care of the Dragapult with Playrough. I switch to Kuro for his Mr. Rhyme, but Steel Wing only does half, while Thunderbolt takes Kuro to red. I heal up Hattrick instead and switch to him off Kuro fainting. Pyro Ball takes care of the Mr. Rhyme, Inteleon comes out, so I go to Drapple and Energy Ball him to death, while he only tries lowering my stats. Last is his Charizard, so I heal up Crash Spyro in the background while he takes out Drapple, and then 2 Max Lightning win us the title. I gotta say, this was a fun run, and I definitely want to do the same thing for other gens, going backwards from here. Gen 7 and 6 are definitely happening. Gen 5 would only really work for the sequels, as any non-randomized run of Black and White is Gen 5 only, so I might just skip that. Gen 4 I will probably end up doing on the remakes, as that is probably the only viable challenge kind of run that I can do right at release later this year, and I really don't feel like playing the DS games. For Gen 3 and 2, I will definitely use the original versions, and Gen 1 gets the Gen 5 treatment since there was no other Pokemon in those games anyway. Hell, you can't even play any Kanto games with anything that's not Gen 1 only, unless you mod the game. So yeah, that's the plan. The other series will of course still keep going as well, so see you for the Gold and Silver Box Art Monster only speedrun in the next Pokemon Challenge video. Until then, my name is WW Dadman. Bye.